Okay, hello everybody. My name is Jameson Chase Young. This is Coins in History. Today I'm going over both my 1909 New Orleans Barber Half Dollars and the Yuma Arizona Territorial Prison, which shut down in 1909. But first I'll be talking about these Barber Half Dollars. Really nice half dollars. You know, they're not as popular as the Walking Liberties, but they're still got a very special place in American history. They were designed by a man named Charles E. Barber. Now the Barbers, they were the head honchos at the Philadelphia Mint for a lot of decades. Because it was first the father, then when the father died, the son took over. And then after that, it was George T. Morgan, the guy who made the Morgan silver dollar. He then took over as the head honcho. But yeah, they were there for so long because it was a father-son duo back to back. The years they minted the Barber half dollars were 1892 to 1915. And then their composition is 90% silver, 10% copper. Their weight is 12.5 grams. Their diameter is 30.6. And their edges reeded. There was a total of 3 mints that minted them, and there was a total of 3,320,050 made throughout all the mints. Now, the New Orleans Mint made 925,400. The Philadelphia Mint made 630,000. And then the San Francisco Mint made 1,764,000. So the San Francisco one is the most common. The Philadelphia is the rarest one. And then this one, the New Orleans, is the second most common with 925,400. Yeah, the Barber half dollars, I've always said this about them, it's night or day. Sometimes, you can get them, they're so worn down that they hardly even look like Barber half dollars. And then from there, you can get them from silver for a spot price. Or they're in really good condition and they're worth like 2, 3, 4 times that of like a Walking Liberty or a Benjamin. So, yeah, and there doesn't seem to be any like meat in the middle. They're either like super worn down or super nice, but there's no like regular in the middle ones. But regardless, they're really amazing coins, and it was these amazing coins in 1909 that were being minted the exact same time the prison, the Yuma Arizona Territorial Prison, was shutting down, was closing its doors for its final time. The Yuma Territorial Prison, it's a former prison located in Yuma, Arizona, United States, that opened on July 1st, 1876, and shut down on September 15th, 1909. It is one of the Yuma Crossing and associated sites on the National Register of Historic Places in the Yuma Crossing National Heritage Area. The site is now operated as a historical museum by Arizona State Park System as Yuma Territorial Prison State Historic Park. When you're driving into Yuma, Arizona, like coming from San Diego, you can see the prison sitting up there on top of the hill. It opened under the authority of the recently organized Arizona Territory. The prison accepted its first inmates on July 1st, 1876. It's also important to note that they also hired, well, not really hired, they forced labor. Several of the inmates were the ones that helped build the prison before it even opened. And then it opened on July 1st, 1876. For the next 33 years, 3,069 prisoners, including 29 women, served sentences there for various crimes ranging from murder to polygamy. The territorial prison was under continuous construction and repairs with labor provided by the prisoners. In 1909, the last prisoner left the old territorial prison for the newly constructed Arizona State Prison complex in Florence, Arizona, 3 years before the establishment of the state of Arizona in 1912. It was the third historic park in Arizona. The state historic park contains the graveyards of 104 of the prisoners that are buried there. And there was some notable inmates: Pearl Hart, a stagecoach robber, and then Buckskin Frank Leslie, the gunfighter and killer of Billy Claiborne. I've heard of him. So there was some notable famous/infamous people who served in the Yuma, Arizona prison. And, the prison's been talked about in several like Western movies. Most recently, that that 3:10 to Yuma movie that came out in 2007 with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. It was mentioned in there, but it's been mentioned in westerns and stuff, throughout time. And then after it shut down, around that same time, the Yuma High School had like a fire. After its previous building suffered the high school in Yuma, Arizona suffered a fire in 1909. The Yuma Union High School briefly occupied many of the old prison buildings a year after the prison had closed, and the prisoners were moved to Florence. Various classrooms were set up temporarily in the old cell blocks, and the hospital was used as an assembly hall. Yuma Union High was situated there for about 4 years from 1910 to 1914. After the school moved to their new replacement building campus at its current modern site of 400 South 6th Avenue. Now, it's important to note that the Yuma High School, their mascot is still the Yuma High Criminals. Because during that time when they had the high school and the prison, rival schools started calling them criminals. The nickname they first embraced it, and they started calling themselves criminals. So it was I think it was originally meant to be making fun of them, but then they embraced the word. And then in 1917, Yuma High School changed their official mascot. To this day, Yuma High School is still the Yuma High Criminals. Now the museum, it's up on those bluffs. Like I said, when you're if you're going from San Diego into Yuma, you can see it on the Colorado River up there on the bluffs, and visitors can explore the original cell blocks of the infamous dark cell, the solitary confinement, a guard tower, and the museum details the lives of over 3,000 people who lived there. And key features of it, the history known as the Hell Hole of the West. The prison was built by the inmates themselves using granted from that site. And although it was called the Hell Hole, it actually was okay standards for 19th century. Modern day times, I'm sure it would be a real hell hole, but for back in the times, it wasn't considered a horrible prison, and visitors can walk through the original cramped cell blocks where the up to 6 inmates were housed in tight 9 by 12 foot spaces. And the dark cell, a 15 by 15 foot windowless cell carved into the rock used for punishment and disobedience. Yeah, and its location is there off the Colorado River. The address is 220 Prison Hill Road, Yuma, Arizona, 85364. It's open daily, and there's an admission, but it's only $4 to $8. So it's a great museum. And anyway, it was my 1909 New Orleans Barber Half Dollars that were being minted when this prison was shutting down, right before it was becoming a high school. The whole thing is a very interesting piece of history. It's a great museum, real Wild West prison. The high school being in the prison was also a little fancy touch, kind of a cool piece of history. And all of it combined, including the Barber Half Dollars, is a very amazing piece of history. I hope you enjoy these videos. I hope you like these videos. If you do like the videos, please hit the like button and please subscribe. My name's Jameson Chase Young, and this is Coins in History. Thank you for watching. Thank you.